Welcome to another broadcast from the Gate Church. This is Jeremy. Today, I'm going to be asking you a question and kind of challenging you on a little bit of something, and that is, do you really love Jesus? Now, it's very well established, and we know this very well, that Jesus loves us because Jesus died for us. It's said it many times, Jesus loves us. We have many songs about it. But what if we flip that around? Do we really love Jesus? You say, well, of course I love Jesus. But what is the evidence of that? Where is that inside of you? And how do you really express that? How does that come out? Because if you look at John kind of 14 through 16, Jesus is talking and Jesus says, if you love me, you'll keep my command. Okay, so that's kind of a condition that Jesus puts on it right there, that it's evident that if you love him, you will do the things that he says to do. Now, obviously, he has said many things. There are many commands from Jesus, but one of them that he particularly points out in that area of John 14 through 16 is to love one another. He says, this is the command I give you, to love one another. So I just wanted to challenge you guys in that today is like, do you really love Jesus? Are you really doing what he has asked you to do? Are you really doing what he has commanded? And are you really loving your fellow Christian? Are you really loving your fellow brother or sister? Now we're going to look at something that I've been thinking about a lot lately, and that is in Matthew 25. And this kind of gives an example of loving and how we care for each other and we do things for each other and we lay down our lives for each other. Will you lay down your life for Christ? Will you lay down your life for your brother or your sister? But when the Son of Man comes in his glory and all the angels with him, then he will sit on his glorious throne, and all the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate them one from another, just as the shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. He will put the sheep on his right, but the goats on the left. And he will say to those on his right, come, you who are blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. And this is why. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. Naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. And then the righteous will answer him, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? And when did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or naked and clothe you? And when did we see you sick or in prison and come to you? And the king will answer and say to them, truly I say to you, to the extent that you did it for one of the least of these brothers or sisters of mine, you did it for me. So that's just one example there of what it looks like to love each other. And I just wanted to put that out there that, do you really love Jesus? Are you really doing the things that he has asked you to do? And are you really loving your fellow brothers and sisters? So just something to think about, a little challenge this time. Read John 14 through 17. Read everything that Jesus says in there and let that sink into you. He's saying, do what I command you to do if you love me. And then he's also saying, abide with me. So if you abide with him, it becomes a whole lot easier to do the commands, right? Because if you know someone, if you truly love someone, if you're intimate with them in knowing them, then you are going to naturally want to do the things that they say. It's not just a list of things. It's not just, okay, I did the one thing today, now I got to do the one thing the next time. You're going to want to please their heart. You're going to want to do the things that they ask of you. And that's how that happens. And it becomes actually out of relationship, out of that exchange, rather than out of a list of to-dos and don'ts. So just want to encourage you guys with that, and I'll see you next time.